I got a gift from a relative, and it was for an ancestry website, and it was just to test our heritage. So I ended up taking the test, and after a couple weeks, I got a result back, and it said that I had a half sister, and I was like, oh wow, because I've been the only child, my whole life from my mom. And I just to find another person, I was just kind of like, oh wow. Well, after searching and searching for her, I got a phone number, and she ended up giving me a call. We had an instant connection. I mean, we talked a lot about what was her interest, what were my interests. We exchanged photos, and just trying to see some similarities or whatnot. And I sent her a picture of my dad. I actually did wish that I had a sister. I've never had a sister before, and I've been the only child to my mother for my whole life. And I used to tell my mom all the time, I was like, oh my God, Mom, you really should have some more kids. So the first time that I spoke to Liz, she became a little emotional, because when I first talked to her, I had to tell her how we were connected, and then I also had to tell Liz that my father was deceased. I felt bad for her, just knowing that Liz all these years never knew who her father was, and she would never even get a chance to know him or meet him. And and I feel bad for her that she's been deprived of knowing who her father was all these years. But actually, I felt kind of happy in a way that even if I could give her some kind of closure to even knew who our father was, would be a nice thing, even if it's just for closure. If Liz really comes back and she's really my sister, I would be happy, because just by talking to her, she's cool. We like the same things. I think that we would have fun together and stuff, and then my daughters would have an aunt, so which would be a cool thing to me. I would be very happy if Liz was my sister. And if it turns out that Liz is not my sister, I would be sad about it. But I told Liz that I still would be a friend to her. That's just the way I feel now.
You're living your life, and somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I might be your sister. What's that like?
It was really weird at first, because I've never met my father my whole life, and it's just been a bad. I've had a bad experience. I've had a really bad when I grew up was really messed up, and I've had two men tell me that they were my father, and one took me to his house. I got to know his family, and they found out he was not my daddy, and we never talked again. I was 12 years old, and that really hurt me. So the next man that claimed he was my father, I never even said anything to. I talked to him, but I didn't have that connection. When I was apprehensive about calling Lameakka, because I felt like the same thing would be, I feel the same way. But when I did decide to call her, because my son kept telling me to call her, I felt this instant connection. Like it was like I've known her for years, and I feel more closer to her than both of those guys that claimed that they were my father.
So you feel there might be a biological connection?
I believe she's my sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how long ago was this when she first called you, or you called her?
This was 2 months ago, but I got in touch with her a month later.
Okay, so since that phone call, you guys been talking a lot?
Oh, yeah. One night I was at work. She talked to me my whole shift, 8 hours. So
Now, I understand you went to a psychic to try to find your father?
I asked him would I ever find him, because I felt like I was a half a person the whole time. I know my mom's side of my family, and it's really small. But my dad, I always wondered who he was, and that's why I did the DNA test to find out my heritage. And so I went to a psychic when I was 25 years old. That was 17 years ago. And I asked him one of the things, because he said some really valid things. I had lost a child before, and he mentioned that to me. So I was skeptical at first, but when he said that, I asked him another question. Will I ever find my father? And he said yes, but he will be deceased when you do find him. And it's so ironic that Lameakka's dad, who might be my dad. He's also deceased.
Yeah. Have you guys met in person yet?
No.
Are you guys far away from each other?
She's in Sacramento, California. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh,
Yes.
geez, you couldn't be any farther apart.
No.
How important is this for you that Lameakka is your sister?
It means the world to me because I finally found out who my father was.
Yeah.
And
She
she's
could
a
fill in
great person.
she could fill in a lot of gaps for you. Hey, Lameakka.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, beautiful.
Hey.
Well, I mean, you're both very attractive women, so maybe you do have the same problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Lameakka, you said you got like an ancestry kit, like as a gift from somebody.
I did because everybody was taking them, and the family members took them. They was like, "Hey, this is like an interesting heritage kit, just to know like where you come from, like what all you have, or just your roots."
So when you did this kit, and then you discover you might have a sister out there. If this comes out, your sisters, who goes? Is it going to be you go to California or do you go to North Carolina?
I'm going to California.
I do that one.
I got to get out of North Carolina.
Yeah, I do that too,
because
Liz.
I'm from there, so I go there frequently. So if she
you can come to North Carolina after I come to Sacramento.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I come there.
I don't go nowhere.
We're having some fun here and we're laughing. But what happens if this DNA test comes back and you're not sisters?
It's going to be okay with me because I still love this girl and we're going to be friends. To me, we met for a reason and we share some type of DNA and I don't even care. We kin somehow or another, so it doesn't matter. I love her.
You'll stay in touch with each other regardless.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Liz, I would never, like I heard you say, that other people stop talking to you. I would never do that, no matter what. And if I had to,
I won't do that to you.
I would, but I hope it's something different. But
I know we are. I know we are.
Are you ready to find out?
I know. I am.
Liz and Lameakka, you are here today because you want to find out if you're biological sisters. You took a DNA test, and the result of that test is that you are sisters. That's got to be such I got to imagine, a wonderful feeling. Because
I'm so relieved.
Yeah, now you have a sister.
I'm happy. I knew it. I knew it in my heart. I felt closer to her than anybody that told me they was my father. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well.
This really means a lot to me. You changed my life forever. I love you, Lameakka.
I love you too. I'm just so sad.
I'm sure that moment that when you guys do get to meet in person is going to be wonderful. And if you would just do me a favor, when you do meet, have the cameras rolling because we'd love to take that moment that you meet and put that into the show because I'm sure that's just going to be a wonderful moment.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Well, it was great meeting both of you. I'm so happy for the both of you, and I'm sure we'll be talking again.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having us. And thank you so much for having us and everything.
Well, I'm glad you got good results, right? That's the best part.
I already knew, but you were the solid confirmation. Thank you.
All right, take care, ladies.
I was ready.
My name is Steve Wilkos, and I'm an investigative talk show host with a law enforcement background.
It was my life or his.
My job is to get truth and justice for everyday people. Watch our videos now.